All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Nick Fidei, the chair of the AZAC committee. Today's date is currently September 23rd. The time is currently 9:32. We are at the Attendance Zone Advisory Commission meeting located in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and we got all these beautiful people looking at us. This is great. So I got to read a couple of these little things, and then we'll get moving through the agenda. And then, Lance, be prepared, buddy. You ready?
I've trained all summer.
All right, we acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the territorial homelands of the Nuwu, the Mawapa Band of Paiutes, and the Las Vegas Band of Paiutes. In conformance with the open meeting law, it is hereby noted that the agenda for the meeting of the Clark County School District Board of Trustees has been posted at the Clark County School District Administrative Center, Clark County School District website, and the Nevada Public Notice website. Current roll call, Nicholas Fidei, Chair, I am present. Dave Flatt, not present. Lance Arndt.
Present.
Shalana Brown.
Present.
Brandon Davis.
Present.
Taryn Gaynor. Supposed to be on the call. Was she on the call?
We don't see her on the screens.
Yeah, okay. So not present at the moment. Diane Kenzel.
Here.
Lawrence Nowak.
Present.
Kelly Quinn.
Present.
Jess Torado.
Present.
Tim Vicario. He's not here. Rudy Zamora.
Present.
Excellent. This is where I always get messed up here because we can skip part of this. So the Attendance Zone Advisory Commission may take items on the agenda out of order, may combine two or more agenda items for consideration, and may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to items on the agenda at any time. Members of the public requiring special assistance or reasonable accommodations at the meeting, including translators for Spanish and other languages, are required to contact the Demographics, Zoning, and GIS Department. Every effort will be made to reasonably accommodate any same-day request, but cannot guarantee the availability of such accommodations. The Attendance Zone Advisory Commission recognizes that it's a deliberative process, benefits greatly from public input and perspective. Those wishing to address the commission in person may sign up to speak once the agenda has been posted by calling the Demographics, Zoning, and GIS Department during regular business hours. And also, there are cards here that you could speak if you'd like, over there, the yellow ones, so. Members of the public are permitted to provide public comment on any agenda item requiring commission action after staff presentations and discussion by the commission, but before the commission votes on the items. Speakers will be given up to 3 minutes to address the commission and shall remain on topic. With that, we will move to opening items 1.01 flag salute. This is where Lance comes in.
Okay, please stand and face the flag. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. Lance? So before I go, well, we'll go ahead and adopt the agenda really quick. Yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and approve the adoption. We'll adopt the agenda really quick. We'll go down to approval of the minutes, and then we'll get into the introductions of the team. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out 1.01 flag salute. Moving on to 1.02 adoption of the agenda. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So I have a first and a second. Lance and Rudy was the second. All in favor? Aye. And if you don't mind, please raise your hands so that Martha can take. Any nays? Excellent. Oh, I'm sorry. Taryn, are you on? Oh, excellent. Can't hear you. There you go.
I am.
There we go. Now we hear you. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Silence that. Okay. So I'm sorry, Taryn, do you, for 1.02 adoption of the agenda, are you voting in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Closing 1.02. Moving to 2.01, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Rudy, second by Lance. All in favor, please raise your hands. Taryn, may I have your vote, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Any opposed? None. Thank you. You good, Martha? Excellent. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to 2.02, introduction of members and staff. I am Nick Fidei. I was the chair last year. I've been on the committee now for about 4 years. This is my 4th one, right? I think so. So what I'll do is, if I don't mind, I'm sorry, sir, you at the end. If I could have you do your introductions. If you'll just press the button, speak right in.
My name is Lawrence Nowak, District A.
Excellent. Very nice to meet you, sir.
Lance Arndt, District A.
Jess Serrato, District D.
Rudy Zamora, District D.
Shalana Brown, District B.
Diane Kinsel, District G.
Kelly Quinn, District E.
Excellent.
Brandon Davis, District E.
Thank you. And then Taryn, please.
Karen Gaynor, District F.
Excellent. All right, welcome all new members. Hopefully we get to have some fun this year. So I do know that our focus areas are very limited this year, but we are anticipating a very busy year next year. So take this opportunity and learn from it. It's a very challenging process for sure. So so definitely ask questions. Diane's been around for quite a while here, so she's a wealth of knowledge. Dave Flatt usually is a wealth of knowledge. I wouldn't lean on me too much for wealth of knowledge, but I'll help where I can. So, of course, Lance and Rudy, Jess have been here too, so good to see the same faces back. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Tracy to introduce staff.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. Tracy Murphy, Director of Demographics and Zoning, and I'd like to start introductions with Shanique Van Allen. Shanique, oh, go ahead. You want to introduce yourself? Okay.
Shanique Van Alen with Transportation, GIS Technician 2.
Excellent, great.
Michael Demers, Transportation, of the Administrator for Transportation Routing and Scheduling.
Thank you.
Josh Gelman, Senior GIS Analyst for Demographic Zoning and GIS.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Steve Berta, Coordinator for Demographic Zoning and GIS.
Martha Roman, Demographic Zoning and GIS.
Blanca Quintana, Secretary.
Excellent, thank you. And anything else from you, Tracy? You good there? All right. I'm going to go ahead and close out 2.02, introduction of members and staff, unless anybody have anything else they want to say, discuss? No? Okay, moving on. 2.03, review of the open meeting law, and I believe I'm passing this over to John. Is that correct? Who's
Yes, can you
online
hear
with
me?
us? Yep, we can hear you.
What about, do you see me as well? I mean, should I be sharing the document I'll be going over?
That's up to you.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, Mr. Okazaki, we have the presentation up on our screen, and we will go ahead and display that while you're speaking, if that's okay?
Okay, great. Just scroll through as we move along.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is John Okazaki. I am General Counsel for the Clark County School District. I'm not Betty Foley. She's busy today. So what I'll be doing this morning is giving you a review of the Nevada's open meeting law, just especially for you, the new members, to advise you of your obligations in regard to the open meeting law. Please feel free to just interrupt and ask any questions that you may have as I'm going through this. So we'll start with what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about what is open government, what the open meeting law requires, and the consequences for violations and consequences for violations. Next slide, please. Let's see. Can you move to the next slide?
I think it's on this screen. There you go. It
Okay.
changed. It doesn't match. We have two screens. They They weren't matching. There you
Yeah,
go.
let me see.
We're good now. There you
Oh,
go. We match
great.
now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so here's the whole purpose of the open meeting law. The idea behind the open meeting law is that public bodies, the conduct, the actions and conduct of the government and the public bodies should be open to the public. So the idea here is that everything that you do should be open to the public. So a good rule of thumb is just whenever you're in doubt as to whether something should be public or not, make it public. And I'll kind of go through some different scenarios and explain that. Go ahead and next slide. So does the open meeting law apply to you? Yes, it applies to all meetings of public bodies. And if you can see in this list that the last one, it includes the governing body of a political subdivision of the state, which is what Clark County School District is, as well as any committee or working group of that governing body. So any committee of the Board of School Trustees would be subject to the open meeting law. Go ahead, next slide. Okay, so the law applies to this group, this body, this committee. But when does it apply? And it only applies when there is a meeting. So this is the trickiest part about the open meeting law, is what constitutes a meeting. So in order to qualify as a meeting, there has to be a quorum of the public body. So there has to be a quorum of members. So I'm not sure how many members are on the AZAC group, but a majority of them would constitute a quorum. So the first requirement for a meeting is a quorum. The second thing is, at that meeting, at that gathering, the people present to constitute a quorum either deliberate toward a decision or actually take action on a matter over which they have supervision, control, jurisdiction, or advisory power. So the best way to think about this is any subject that could, in fact, at some point come before you, any issue or subject that that you can imagine coming to the board and being on the agenda as an action item, that is something that you would have control and supervision, control, and jurisdiction over, or advisory power over. So in regard to those issues, you cannot talk to each other about it, and definitely can't take any action like voting or getting a consensus on any of those issues if there's a quorum involved. Okay, so if some of you, can you tell me how many members there are on the board or on the committee?
There's 12 total.
Okay, 12. So that means 7 constitutes a quorum. Okay, so if you have 6 people meeting, you don't have to worry about the open meeting law because there's no quorum. Okay, but if there's at least 7 of you, right, you have to be careful not to talk about any issue that could potentially come before you on the agenda. Okay. The other thing about the meeting and the gathering, we call them gatherings instead of meetings, because you can gather and it's not necessarily a meeting. So again, if 6 of you gather, that's not a meeting because there's no quorum, right? If 7 or 8 of you gather, that meets the first requirement of the meeting. But if you don't talk about anything that could come before you, then it's not a meeting because you're not deliberating, you're not taking action on any matter that's before you. But when we talk about gathering, it can be done in a number of different ways. It could be physically gathering in the same location. It could be going off to the side when you're together in a group and then just have like, let's say 7 of you drift off to the side of the room that you're in, and that's the first requirement of the meeting. You could also constitute the gathering or the meeting if through a series of emails or telephone conversations, you are in essence meeting. So for example, if you get on a 3-way call with 3 of you, one person gets on another 3-way call with 2 more, and then so on and so forth until you get 7 involved in this kind of group of people who are talking about something, it's going to be considered a gathering of those members. So I would recommend not engaging in any business over the phone, because you run the risk of, if you talk to somebody and that person talks to 2 or 3 more people, and 1 or 2 of those people talk to 2 or 3 more people, before you know it, you have gathered a quorum of the committee. All right, next slide. So now, okay, so non-meeting exceptions, right? So again, this is what I was kind of going over. You can go to a social function, but if you do not if you have a quorum, but you're not deliberating and you're not taking action, it's not a meeting. If you only have 5 or 6 of you, that's not a quorum. You can deliberate, still not a meeting. I don't recommend it, but it's not technically a meeting. There are 2 other exceptions to a meeting, and these gatherings are exempt from the open meeting law. The first is whenever you're meeting with an attorney from the Clark County School District or somebody that they've hired. So for example, the board has hired board counsel. So they're Parker and Associates. So if you were to meet for some reason with anybody from Parker Associates or anybody from my office, the Clark County Office of General Counsel, and to receive information about any matter that you're involved in, that's a exempt attorney-client meeting. Okay, so even though we would be meeting as a quorum, there'd be a quorum present, you'd be discussing matters, we'd be discussing matters that could potentially come before you. Again, it's exempt from the open meeting law, so the open meeting law would not apply. The other exemption is when we meet with public bodies to discuss negotiations. That probably wouldn't ever occur with your committee, but technically speaking, negotiation meetings with the board members are exempt from open meeting law. So the important thing to understand here is the examples I just gave you when you're meeting with an attorney or you're talking about negotiations, those gatherings are exempt from open meeting law. Okay, that is different than a gathering that doesn't meet the definition of a meeting, right? So just there's a technical difference between those. One is exempt and none of the open meeting law applies. The other one is you're not necessarily meeting the definition of a meeting. All right, next slide. All right, so here are the other requirements when you do have a meeting. If you are going to have a meeting, you have to give written notice of it. And I noticed that you mentioned some of this. The agenda has been posted at least 3 working days before the meeting. It indicates the time, place, and location of the meeting. It lists all the locations where the notice has been posted, and it gives the name and contact information for somebody who wants to obtain supporting materials. And it includes the actual agenda. Go ahead, next slide. These are the minimum posting requirements. I won't go over this in detail, and you're not responsible for doing that. Staff will do this for you. Next slide. Agenda requirements, again, again, staff does this for you, but I'll kind of go over some of the important parts. It has to be a clear and complete statement of the items that you're going to take action on. Enough description so that the public understands what you're going to be talking about. Again, if you always think back of the intent of the open meeting law is to let inform the public of what you're doing, and so that if they're interested, they can come and hear all of your deliberations, all of the reasons that you're taking the actions that you're taking. So in order to do that, you have to make sure that you're describing to them what you're actually going to be talking about. If an item is an action item, it has to be clearly stated that it's an action item for possible action. And then one of the most important things about the meeting is you must provide for public comment. Okay, public comment can be taken in a number of different ways. I think that's the next slide, so I'll come back to that. The other parts of this you've already gone over. I've known in your introduction that you indicate that you may take items out of order, you may drop items, and so on. You just couldn't add items because they wouldn't have been noticed in time. So next slide. Let's see. Go ahead, and we can go past that one. again, this is staff does this. We have to make sure we provide accommodations, special notice, things like that. Go on, next one. Next slide. Meeting materials, there must be the copy of the agenda. Any supporting materials that you're going to consider, all must be available to the public. Go ahead, next slide. Next slide. Okay, public comment. There's two ways that you can take public comment. And I understand which way you're doing it. The first way that you can do it is that you can ask for public comment before any of the items for action that you're taking, and then again at the adjournment of the meeting. So you could have just public comment before you even begin any of your items on the agenda, and then at the end of the meeting. And if you provide those two opportunities for public comment, that's all you're required to do. Or the way that the Board of School Trustees does it, and the way I understand you've done it, are doing it based on your introduction, is that after every action item, you take public comment, okay? And technically speaking, the ideal way to do this is for you to deliberate over any action item and then take public comment, okay? Again, the idea is that the public should be given the opportunity to see or to hear what you guys are deliberating, what you're thinking, the reasons behind the actions that you may take, and then be able to comment, provide you comment on that. If you were to take public comment before any of you even discuss the action item, it's not as effective to give them the opportunity to participate. Okay, next. Now, restrictions on public comment. Hopefully this doesn't have to come up, but this is a public meeting. This is your meeting. You have the right to maintain order. So if at any point public comment becomes disruptive, either in that it's just unduly repetitive, or that the language being used, or anything that you can think that you reasonably believe is interrupting and interfering in the orderly process of the meeting, then you may start to restrict public comment. Again, hopefully you never have to go into that. But when we say we have to provide for public comment, that doesn't mean they can say anything they want or do anything they want. They cannot interrupt your meeting. Okay. Next slide. Meeting minutes are mandatory. Here at Clark, we record all the meetings, and the primary purpose for recording meetings is so that we can produce minutes from those meetings, from those recordings. And I think that you've already approved your minutes from the last meeting, which is also a requirement. Go ahead, next slide. Yeah, they must be approved at the next meeting, which I see that it's always at the beginning of the next agenda. Next slide. You don't have to worry about that. Staff will take care of that. Next slide. Okay, consequences. If you violate, if there's the way this works is if somebody thinks that you violated the open meeting law, they can file a complaint. And there's two substantial consequences if it's determined that you violate the open meeting law. And so the way this works is if you were to get a complaint that you violated the open meeting law, it would come to my office or board counsel's office, and we would respond on your behalf as to whether we think there was a violation or not. Typically, we can work out any mistakes or things that were done inadvertently, and it's not a big deal. You really only get into these penalties if there is probably intentional conduct in violating the open meeting law. But just so you know, if you attend a meeting and participate with knowledge in a violation of the open meeting law, technically speaking, you could be charged with this misdemeanor. Now, the important part of this is if you do it with knowledge, okay? So if you don't think that there's an open meeting law violation happening, and a lot of it's nuanced, you're not going to be charged. They're not going to be able to charge you with this. It's only if you know that there's a violation occurring and you intentionally participate in it, you could be charged with a misdemeanor. And they could technically administer a fine for your willful knowledge of a violation of the open meeting law. Okay, just a caveat, if you ever are acting upon the advice of an attorney, for example, me, something I told you here, you act upon it based on your understanding of what I'm saying, that's a defense to any liability on your part. Okay, it's my obligation to give you legal advice, and if you're following it, you can't be held responsible for it. Okay, next slide. So just some summaries here, things to keep in mind. AZAC must comply with the open meeting law. It applies to you. Open meeting law is to make sure that the actions taken are transparent to the public. There are specific requirements of how and where the agenda and backup documentation needs to be noticed and posted, and staff will take care of that. There are very few ways to close a meeting. In my opinion, I don't think there'd be any reason for AZAC to close a meeting. So any discussion or action taken must only be made upon proper agenda item and in public. Disclose any conflict of interest, and just be aware that if you do not comply, potentially there could be civil and criminal penalties. And that is really it. But let me answer any questions that anybody has about any of this stuff.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. One moment for me, please. That's okay. John, I apologize. While you did that, Dave Flatt was calling back. We want to make sure he was okay. He was supposed to be here, and
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries.
so he's going to be joining remotely, so they're going to take care of that. So I appreciate that. Sorry for that delay there. So I want to open it up to any questions from the committee. Anybody have any questions to Mr. How do you say it? Azaki?
Okazaki,
Okazaki, sorry.
no worries.
No questions? Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Okazaki. I appreciate it. Did I
Thank
do
you.
it? Awesome.
Have a good meeting.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
With that, we'll go ahead and close out 2.03 review of the open meeting law. And we're going to move on to section 2.04 organizational procedures. This is my favorite one because it's all for Tracy. All you, Tracy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. So for the new members, and I mentioned this in the orientation, we'd be going over this again in today's meeting. So thank you for your patience. We go over this every year at the first meeting, just as a reminder of what AZAC is about and what the bylaws state and the policy. So again, thank you for your patience. And the organizational procedures start with the Attendance Zone Advisory Commission. In November 1966, the Board of School Trustees set policy for controlled zoning. It provides a framework for administrative, business, and instructional programs, allows balancing of enrollment and management of human capital and financial resources. On June 14, 1994, the Board of Trustees established the Attendance Zone Advisory Commission. AZAC is a board-appointed commission subject to the Nevada open meeting law, whose purpose is to provide recommendations to the superintendent of the Clark County School District concerning any necessary changes to attendance boundaries. AZAC is a 15-member commission. 2 members are appointed by each board member and 1 appointed by the superintendent. Members serve staggered 2-year terms. Generally, meetings are from August to March. Members are non-paid appointees, must reside within the trustee district for which they are appointed, and cannot be full-time employees of the district. AZAC member roles and responsibilities: plan to attend Tuesday and Thursday morning meetings from September to March as needed, and evening public input meetings in January in the various zoning areas under consideration throughout Clark County. If you're going to be absent or need to attend virtually, contact the Demographic, Zoning, and GIS office as soon as possible before their meeting. Article 5 of the bylaws of the Attendance Zone Advisory Commission reads, due to the complexity of the zoning process, it is essential that members attend as many meetings as possible. If a commissioner is unable to attend a meeting due to an emergency or unforeseen circumstance, A telephone conference may be requested, allowing remote participation if amenities are available. The Commission may request Clark County School District technical personnel to facilitate telephone conferencing if available. After 3 absences in a school year and each absence thereafter, the member will be referred in writing by the chair to the appropriate member of the board and the superintendent with copies to Commission members. Members with 6 or more absences within a school year will not be reappointed the following year. AZAC member roles and responsibilities: to familiarize yourself with materials provided on the AZAC website, that's azac.ccsd.net. Be available for various meetings with region superintendents, school associate superintendents, principals, parent-teacher associations, organizations, and/or community members. Work with demographic zoning and GIS staff to develop scenarios to address zoning priorities of the trustee district from which you are appointed. Accept and consider appropriate public input into scenarios. Be prepared to answer questions and concerns of their scenarios and proposals. Be attentive to zoning priorities of all trustee districts. Address zoning priorities and timelines set by the district. Follow relevant district policies, regulations, procedures, and guidelines. Be respectful to fellow members, the public, and staff, and keep their trustee informed of all progress. AZAC duties of officers. AZAC shall elect members to serve as chair and vice chair. The chair will call the meeting to order and call for roll call, conduct the meetings in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, work with district staff regarding requests for additional materials, set meeting calendars and agenda to assure that all priorities and timelines are met, act as the official spokesperson of the commission, including addressing the Board of School Trustees and media requests. The vice chair will serve as chair in the absence of the chair. Phases of the AZAC process. First, the focus areas is to identify the schools which may be discussed and considered during each item of a public meeting agenda. These may be expanded or reduced on future agendas. For consistency and identification throughout the year, these are categorized alphanumerically: E for elementary, M for middle, H for high schools, and C for combined. Next, scenarios. Scenarios represent an idea an AZAC member wishes to discuss before the commission at a public meeting. Any number of scenarios may be considered for each focus area. Proposals. Proposals are potential zone change concepts approved by a majority vote of the commission prior to winter break to be presented during an evening public input meeting in January. Recommendations, again by a majority vote of the commission, is made after the evening public input meetings. Only elements included in the proposals presented at the public input meetings may be incorporated as part of the final recommendation to the superintendent and Board of School Trustees. Staff recommendations are submitted in a situation where clarification is needed, a change has occurred, or an alternative recommendation is available. District policies and regulations. District Policy 7111 is the district attendance zoning policy, and 5112 is the change of school assignment. Policy and Regulation 5112 was revised by the School Board of Trustees on September 23, 2021, consolidating zone variances, open enrollment, and board-approved options into a single change of school assignment process. And these policies are in the notebooks that were provided, as well as the bylaws and regulations. Criteria. CCSD Regulation 7111 determines criteria to be considered during a zone change, but not limited to, and not in any particular order, current enrollment, anticipated future enrollment growth, and future school construction, racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic diversity of students enrolled at a school, proximity of schools to where students live, with a preference to students living closest to school, stability of educational programs for students, maintain neighborhood cohesiveness to the extent possible, stability of an attendance boundary with a goal that a school attendance boundary would not be changed in 2 consecutive years, except if new school construction requires a change, distance and travel time of students from a school, opportunity for siblings to attend the same school, safety of students getting to and from school, feeder school alignment, impact of change of school assignment pursuant to policy 5112, new high schools open without a 12th grade class. 12th grade students currently enrolled in an existing high school will not be reassigned when a high school attendance boundary is changed. AZAC may recommend grade level phasing when grandfathering, when evaluating attendance boundary changes in appropriate circumstances. The need for portable classrooms to accommodate overcrowding and over and underutilization of schools, facility use, alternative schedules, and program needs. Tools used: capacity reports, Clark County Open Web public mapping application, development tracking, field checks, geographic student locations, hotspot maps, location of potential new school construction, monthly enrollment reports, school enrollment, secondary school percent change. The priorities for the 2025-2026 zoning season. First, focus area M1 in trustee districts E and F and municipality Clark County. The purpose of this focus area is to evaluate the existing attendance boundaries of Lawrence and Heidi Canarelli and Wilbur and Teresa Fast Middle Schools in Region 2. Focus area H1, trustee districts E and F, municipality Clark County. The purpose of this focus area is to evaluate the existing attendance boundaries of Durango and Sierra Vista High Schools in Region 2. Focus area H2, trustee districts A and G, municipalities Clark County and Henderson. The purpose of this focus area is to evaluate the existing attendance boundaries of Basic Academy of International Studies and Foothill and Green Valley High Schools in Region 3. The 2025-26 zoning season timeline: September, the first enrollment report; September 23rd, today's organizational meeting; October is CCSD Enrollment Validation Day. In October also, Demographics and Zoning will provide and identify hotspot maps, in addition to the student file that will be available in GIS format. December 9th, identify proposals for public input. January 13th and 14th, public input meetings. January 20th, identify final recommendations. February, recommendations to the superintendent. And then a board meeting to be scheduled and the date to be determined with the Board of School Trustees for their review and approval of any rezoning recommendations.
Thank you so much, Tracy. So just to touch on what she had mentioned, there are 3 focus areas for this season in districts E and F and A and G. Those are the only focus areas we have this year. There is expectation that next year, as this facility master plan project comes to an end, that there could potentially be a significant amount of rezoning for next year. So if you're not impacted this year by your focus areas or these focus areas, pay attention to what the teams do, because this will be much busier next year. So with that, though, any questions for Tracy from the commission? Taryn? Dave Flatt?
No, thank you.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. You're the best. All right, I will go ahead and move 2.04, closing that one, and moving on to 2.05, election of chair and vice chair. Just to eliminate some confusion, like we did last year, I think we'll set the precedent that whatever is decided here will move in the next meeting. So we'll continue this meeting out so there's no confusion. All right, so with that, we need to move and decide who the chair and vice chair is going to be for this season. Are there any recommendations, or Sir Lance?
I move that Nick be the chair for this year.
I second.
Second.
Thank you. All right, so we have a first by Lance, a second by Rudy, and a third by Dave, and a fourth by Diane. All in favor, raise your hands, please. Thank you. I'd like to also move for vice chair for Dave Flatt, if I could, please.
Second.
Thank you, Lance. So I have first by me, second by Lance. All in favor? All in favor? Beautiful. I'm sorry. And Taryn raised her hand on both of those. I don't know if you saw that. Sorry. Thank you, Taryn.
Yes, thank you.
I always forget when we have somebody on the call, and then we forget that they're even there, and they start talking. It's just weird in here. Sounds like, uh-oh, someone's talking. It's weird. All right. Thank you for that, guys. So we can go ahead and close out 2.05. Moving on to 2.06, calendar dates and times. So Dave and I did talk about this prior to this meeting, and then I was just talking with Tracy at this meeting. With the 3 focus areas, we want to try to talk about each focus area at least in 3 meetings, correct, Tracy?
Mr. Chair, I think that would be a good idea so that we give the public opportunities to comment and speak.
Okay, excellent. So what will take place is that the meeting for October 7th is already set, already noticed. We can't move those dates. The rest of the dates on the calendar, and do you guys have this meeting dates sheet in front of you?
It's in our binder.
Yeah, it should be in our binder. Let me see if I can get to that section. Is it different in the binder?
Yeah, ours is prettier.
Yes, that is it. So it's under the calendars and schedules section. Yeah, under that one. It's not as nice as this, but it's right here. Yeah. So, but we do have a meeting scheduled for October 7th. At that point, we'll request, or we are requesting, the focus areas to be presented to us so that we can actually see the maps and start working on those. So at that meeting, we'll get that data. From there, I'm going to propose, and I want to open this up to the committee. I don't want to make a decision and impact anybody's decisions on how we're going to do these areas. But one, I want to just say I don't think it's necessary that we meet twice a week, being that we only have 3 focus areas. It's not going to be a significant amount of work. So I'd like to just off the board just take Thursdays off our meeting. Is everybody agree with that? Anybody opposed?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. So I think we're going to go ahead and strike Thursdays off the list completely. And then I would like to make a suggestion that we go ahead and take October 14th off of the meeting, because we're going to go ahead and schedule to meet on October 28th anyway. So we'll get our focus areas on the 7th and then meet in 2 weeks to discuss that. Anybody opposed to that?
I don't have the right sheet.
Really? Diane? Here, you know what?
It's from 2122.
Nicholas? Nick?
Yes, sir, Dave.
I'll be in New York on the 7th.
Okay. Well, then you're going to miss us. Do you want me to send you a picture?
Unless I do it over in New York.
No.
I've never missed a meeting, so this will be a tough one.
I mean, we could technically make the, oh, no, we already did it. Thank you, Ms. Tracy.
That makes sense.
Well, why does yours say 2122?
I don't know. That was in my mind.
Come on, Diane. What are we doing here? Okay. So, so I'm going to go ahead and say we'll take 14th off the meeting, so nothing on the 14th. And then from there, so then we would meet the 28th, no Thursday. I don't see any reason to meet on the 4th, but then looking to do November 18th as the next one after that. Everybody agree? No 4th.
No, fourth?
No, because we just took Thursdays off, so Thursday the 6th, so we'll take that off already. Yeah, so that's why I blanketed the Thursdays gone, because I don't think we need to meet twice a week. So then I don't think we need the 4th. That's 2 weeks after the 28th. If we go to the 18th of November, and then probably the 9th of December.
Nick?
Yes, sir?
I looked on my calendar. It says that I'm showing a bond oversight meeting at 11:30 on the 18th in that hall.
Correct. Yeah, so Tracy did tell us that we had to be done by 10:30. That'd be
Okay.
just over an hour.
Thank you.
Yep. Any objections to those dates, Lance?
No, I'll just say the pledge really quickly.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take off December 2nd, and I'll announce the actual dates here as I cross them off here. So here's what I'm thinking. October 7th, October 28th, November 18th, December 9th. Those would be our meetings there. The public input, we have to be at those. But
Yeah.
does that seem reasonable for everybody on the commission?
Be out of the country then.
Any questions, objections, anybody? It should be. There's only 3 focus areas, so it's relatively light.
Can I just request that the focus area dealing with Section A not be on October 28th? Because I'm going to attend remotely, but it's just more difficult.
Sure. Well, I will get them on the 7th, Lance. So we'll go over everything on the 7th, and then you guys are going to discuss that. So generally, the way that it works, for especially those that are new, the focus areas will be presented to us, and the commission that oversees that area will kind of work on that. They're familiar with that area. And then they'll come back and show us what they've been working on as a commission. And then we put our input in, we talk about it, we do whatever. But at the end of the day, generally speaking, those that are over that area or that focus area, they're the ones that are going to provide the recommendations to us. So it's important that we accommodate those that are impacted by these focus areas. Okay? Sound good?
You're talking about adding a third public meeting?
No, nope, just the 2. We won't change those, was what I'm saying. So, all right, any other questions, concerns? No? So just to reiterate, October 7th, October 28th, November 18th, December 9th. Public input, January 13th, the 14th. We will provide final recommendations on the January 20th. And I'm gonna suggest that we keep the 27th for right now. Last year, we did have I don't want to say it was a challenge, but there was a last-minute change that we wanted to recommend, so we needed that meeting before we met with the board. And the biggest challenge, and I saw it in here, and I don't remember where it is now, is the wording on if we're going to do grandfathering. So, and we did put the wording in here, but we had some challenges with that, so we took the extra meeting to do that. So I'll just recommend that we keep the 27th there, and then we meet with the board in February, whatever date that's going to be. So, is everybody on board? Mm-hmm. Awesome. We don't have to, we don't motion it, we just agree, we're done? Okay, perfect. All right, excellent, thank you guys. Closing out 2.06, we are on to public comment 3.01. Martha's telling me we have nothing, so we are going to close 3.01 and move to Section 4, adjournment. This is the best part of it. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Second.
All right, so I got Rudy and I got Diane as a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 There we go. Thank you, Taryn. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you guys. Have a good day, guys.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too. Thanks.